There comes a time in every Rust wipe when you realize there's one thing that's more important than almost anything else in the game, and that thing is low-grade fuel. That's why for today's tutorial, I'm going to be building the smallest possible footprint for a crude oil refinery in Rust. I'll show you what it looks like here. If you take a look up here on the top, just a very standard 1x1 with some triangles on it. I'm going to have the tool cupboard in this corner here, the airlock right here, and the bubbler right in here. Let me show you exactly how this works. Some of you might be scratching your head at this point wondering how it's possible to fit a bubbler on a foundation when normally that's not possible. And let me show you what we got going on in here. Alright, it might be making a little bit more sense now that you can see it. What we've got in here is actually just two foundations for this entire build. Just these two triangles, that one right there, this one I'm standing on, and we've got these two walls here that are just floating in the air. You'll notice that they only have 10% stability on them, and the roof is 48% stable, so it's a little bit better. The way we go about doing this is by starting initially with a high foundation to get this very, very low to ground level foundation here. Place these walls, these other two foundations, and then delete this ground level foundation once we've got all these placed. After that's done, you put your bubbler down here, you put upkeep in the tool cupboard, and then you're safe to go out and adventure. Now, of course, how you protect your tool cupboard or how you build out your airlock is up to you. You may be able to get a cheaper build out of this by eliminating these two windows, but this is the way that I chose to build it, so within your budget, you can resolve this on your own. Now, the easiest thing to do is to start with a square foundation, and now what you want to do is you want to make sure you're standing, not crouching, standing upright on the flat area that you're planning to build on. You want to look out at the horizon, and you want to get the floor of the foundation just a touch, like a pixel or two above the horizon. It doesn't even have to be that high above it, but I found that just above the horizon works in almost every case. You've got that. Put your first foundation down, and then put your second foundation down. This is going to be where your bubbler is going to go eventually. So this is looking really good so far. The best way to make sure that this build is going to work is by checking the edges here to make sure that there is almost no gap underneath where the wall will be placed here attached to that foundation. Now we're going to go ahead and get rid of this foundation here, and we're going to place two triangular foundations like that. Now these foundations will provide all the stability that you need for the two walls that are going to be floating here, but they are necessary, so if these get broken at any time, these walls will collapse, so keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and get some walls down just to seal this all off. Window here. An airlock works best when you angle it to the left on a triangle. That way the outermost door opens up, blocking this doorway and preventing people from passing into this second doorway if they get through your first door. Once you get to this stage, you may want to get your tool cupboard down, so we'll go ahead and get that placed. I like to do the hovering triangular floor frame situation here. It just works, in my opinion, very well for my builds. Go ahead and put a window frame in there. Get some roofs on here. And then we'll go ahead and get all this up to stone. I'm going to go ahead and just take it all the way up to brick, but stone works just fine as well. Alright, now you've got one more foundation here to take care of. You're actually not going to turn this one up to brick. You're going to go ahead and just demolish it. That should test the stability of your build. Now you'll notice that there's a tiny gap down there. That shouldn't be a problem at all because no one should be able to see that really very easily. Grenades won't fit under there typically. Let's go ahead and get some doors down on this just to make sure it's nice and secure. We can put our window down here to protect the tool cupboard. Outer airlock door and this window as well. I'll show you what I mean by that airlock here. When you kind of angle out and to the left with your airlocks, if you died here in your doorway, somebody who, presumably killed you, would only be able to get this far. If you open the inner door, they can't pass through this gap. It's too narrow, so they can't actually get anything in this square unless it's right here along the edge. Now, if you build your base correctly and you plan for that, an airlock like this can be perfect at preventing people from going deep in your base. Now, once you've got this airlock built, the last step you're going to want is to put in your refinery. We're going to go ahead and find a good spot for it. You want to try to get it as close to that back corner there as possible, so that way you have just a little bit of room to navigate. That should do it. So now that it's in there, everything's looking pretty good. The upkeep for this bad boy is really not that bad. If you take a look, 272 stone per 24-hour window and 35 metal fragments. It's going to be slightly higher with this window in there, but probably not much more than 50. If you go ahead and just put in 1,000 of each of those two required materials, put your window back on here, you can see that we've got 3 days of upkeep, no problem at all. And that's that. That is the build for your small refinery base. It's very low key. Thanks again for watching. If you have any questions, as always, leave those in the comments or find me on Twitter. I'm there all the time. If there's anything you want to see me build, let me know. I would love to try some of your ideas in these build servers or even on a vanilla server if that's something that you want to see. I haven't done too much with the footage, but if you find that you want to see some of my vanilla gameplay and see what kind of bases I'm building on those servers, let me know, and I'll gladly, put a wipe together, maybe even live stream it if that's something that there's interest in, and otherwise, just keep an eye on that timeline, that For You page, keep an eye on your subscription, maybe hit that bell in the notification window. These base designs are only going to make things easier for you as we move forward. So if you find that this helped, go ahead and like the video. It also helps you save the video for later. That's all I've got for you. Again, I'm Spilldrop. If you like this content, subscribe to the channel. There's always going to be more. Feel free to like the video, and I will see you in the next one.